Milo's adventure, the journey home from the hidden valley. After days of adventure in the hidden valley of the luminous falls, Milo finally decided it was time to return home to the enchanted forest. The morning sun illuminated the valley, casting a soft glow over the sparkling falls. Milo, with his trusty backpack slung over his shoulders, took one last deep breath of the fresh, magical air and began his journey back. As he made his way through the dense jungle surrounding the valley, the sounds of trickling water gradually faded into the distance. His path, though familiar, was laden with new challenges. The lush vegetation had thickened since his last visit, making it difficult to navigate. But Milo, ever resourceful, used his small paws and quick mind to maneuver through the dense undergrowth. He came across some of the strange, glowing plants he had studied in the valley, which now lit his path as he ventured deeper into the wilderness. It wasn't long before he found himself standing at the base of a rocky incline, the first major hurdle on his route back to the enchanted forest. The cliffs were jagged and steep, but Milo had climbed steeper in his travels. He began to scale the rocks, carefully placing each paw to ensure he didn't slip. His muscles ached, but his heart was filled with determination to return home. After hours of climbing, Milo reached the summit. From this vantage point, he could see the dense greenery of the enchanted forest far in the distance. His heart skipped a beat with excitement. He was getting closer. But between him and the forest lay a barren stretch of land known as the Windless Flats. No trees, no shelter, just miles of cracked earth and swirling dust devils. Milo knew crossing the Windless Flats would be one of the toughest parts of his journey. He adjusted his backpack, tightened his boots, and steeled himself for the dry, relentless expanse. The ground was hard beneath his feet, and the sun beat down from above, but Milo kept going. Every step forward brought him closer to home. Halfway across the flats, Milo paused for a drink from his canteen, realizing how long the journey had been. He sat down on a cracked boulder and gazed at the horizon. As he did, something unusual caught his eye, a shimmer in the distance, almost like a mirage. Milo's curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to investigate. As he approached the glimmering object, he realized it was an ancient compass, half buried in the ground. The brass was tarnished with age, but it still worked perfectly. Milo's eyes lit up. This wasn't just any compass, it was enchanted, its needle pointing towards hidden treasures and secret places. He tucked it carefully into his backpack, knowing it could come in handy for future adventures. The compass gave Milo new energy, and he pressed on. By dusk, the cracked earth beneath his paws began to soften, signaling the edge of the Windless Flats. The comforting scent of pine trees wafted toward him, and Milo's heart swelled with joy. He had made it to the outskirts of the enchanted forest. But the forest at night was a different place. The trees whispered with secrets, and shadows moved where none should be. Milo lit his lantern, casting a warm glow around him, and cautiously made his way along the familiar, winding path that led to his cozy home. Suddenly, a rustling in the bushes made him stop in his tracks. His fur stood on end. He held the lantern higher and took a step forward. Out of the darkness stepped an old friend, Brim, the wise owl. Brim gave Milo a knowing look, his large eyes twinkling in the lantern light. "Well, if it isn't our adventurous little mouse," Brim hooted softly. "Back from another journey, I see." Milo smiled. "It's good to be home, Brim." The owl nodded. "The forest has missed you. But something tells me this won't be your last adventure." Milo chuckled softly. "Not by a long shot." Together, they walked deeper into the forest, the trees parting as if welcoming Milo home. The journey had been long and difficult, but as Milo neared the safety of his small woodland cottage, he felt a deep sense of peace. He had explored lands far beyond the enchanted forest, met creatures few had ever seen, and yet, no place was quite as magical as home. As he settled into his bed that night, Milo's thoughts wandered to the compass tucked safely in his backpack. Where would it lead him next? The world was vast and filled with untold mysteries. And though he was home now, Milo knew that the spirit of adventure would always be with him, calling him to explore the unknown. With a smile on his face, Milo drifted off to sleep, ready for whatever adventure tomorrow might bring.